everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor. We're back here. It's your post-Sheffield Wednesday win fan forum chat. What's going on in your world? Let us know in the comment section below. We're going to be getting into everything Leeds United, the performance, the standout performers, the atmosphere, and everything good around Ellen Road. We're joined by four of the best. We're actually joined by Darren on Only Leeds Bros and Dillo on Only Leeds Bros as well, a channel that I watch regularly, and the lads have got in contact, and I wanted to get them on as well. A couple of the Irish contingent, I'm sure you're all very aware, and we've got Matt and Steve from the Patreon as well. If you want to join these, everybody can hit the Patreon link as well, and you've got a chance to be on the show post-match. So, lads, let me just organise this chaos. What's going on? Matt, we're on the bottom row here, mate, and we've got Darren and Dillo in the building as well. So, we're going to come to you boys first. Keep getting your comments in the section below, everybody. Darren, Leeds 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. What's all the panic about, mate?
Yeah, I don't know what I was panicking for. Myself and Dylan did a match build-up last night, and I think it was after the first two games of 2025, the both draws, not convincing against Harrogate, strikeout injured. I was just about to hit that panic button last night, and then Leeds come up trumps today. It didn't really feel comfortable until we got the second one, and then we get the third, and we're home and host. Not really like Leeds United to be kind of given the carrot. I had a feeling we might have slipped up today just with Sheffield United winning yesterday. I thought we might have missed our chance to go back to the top, but we didn't. This team is just relentless, and especially at Ellen Road, I think that's 10 wins out of 11 games. Outstanding home form. If we can just knuckle down that away form, we should be home and holes in this division. But yeah, we got our job done today. 3 goals, 3 points onto Norwich now midweek.
Yeah, big fan of the 2 shirts behind you, mate. Nice.
Like it, nice.
I don't know if you've been selective there, but I lined up you on the channel. Dillo, same thoughts, mate. We're just speaking a little bit off air there, mate. I think it was, don't know if it was comfortable. It didn't feel comfortable, to be honest, when I was down there today. My rare appearance at Ellen Road, it didn't feel comfortable, mate. Do you think 3-0 flattered Leeds a little bit in that one, or?
To be honest, when it was 1-0, I was kind of saying to myself, like, this has a 1-1 draw written all over it.
Yeah,
I just had that. I'm the type of Leeds fan. I just, I've been hurt that many times. It's like a bad breakup. I'll never get over it. And it's always in the back of my head that Leeds are going to some way, make a balls of my day, basically. But they didn't. Overall, the performance, I have to say, to be honest, wasn't great. Went flat at times, tempo died. It's that kind of sharp tempo football we need, quick tempo football. A few times Aaronson just, held onto the ball a bit too long, etc. But look, at the end of the day, 3 points are on the board, 3 goals. So how could you not be happy? But, just the likes of Darren said there, strike being out and all, I think I smashed my panic button probably in the start of December. I don't think I can even repair it. I just a pure panicker, and my anxiety just be through the roof, considering other teams are knocking about the transfer window and we aren't. But yeah, look, overall, I'm happy we're top of the league. 3 points, 3 goals. The goals were unreal as well. So yeah, overall, I'm pleased.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, innit? It's like you finish the game, you 3-0 win, Yorkshire derby. Yeah, Steve, it very much feels like, you look at the bench again. I put it out on social media, and Schmidt's on there. You've got Gilavoggi on there, you got Joseph on there, you got Ramazani on there, you got Gnonto on there, you got Gruev on there. It's getting to a point of which it's ridiculous when you look at that, and we're not looking at, for me, a squad of I don't think we need to always sort of look at having a squad of 24, 25, 26, 27, because you only really ever get sort of 16 or 17 players in this Leeds United team even being utilised, mate. So it's kind of, you just need to look at that core, don't you, in terms of rotation. And right now, there's no better squad. I just can't have it. There's no better squad in this division.
No, I kind of agree with you there. There's been a lot of, as always, these transfer windows are a nightmare. Everybody's like, yeah, this club's buying that, and why aren't we doing anything? Well, the only reason that the other clubs are buying is because they want to step up their squad to what kind of we have. We can't complain about what we've got. What we've got is what we have, and it's a good quality and it's good stock. Just to say that we need to buy. I'm a big favourite of Solomon. I'm a big fan of Solomon, and as I've said to you, I've mentioned before that I think Solomon would be fantastic in the 10. That opens up Ramazani to get back in the team and have a choice of between Gnonto and James on the other side. Ramazani, as effective as he was today and as quality as he was, when the team sheet came out, I was like, well, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing? It's ridiculous to have somebody of his quality sat on the bench and not playing, right from the start. Well, all right. There's an argument to be said that maybe you can sit him out for this one. I wouldn't sit him out for the Burnley or Sunderland game. I think that would be catastrophic. Well, maybe that's a bit harsh, but I don't think it'd go. I don't think it'd leave us in a good position. And especially after the first goal went in today, I thought we stepped off the gas a bit. We allowed them to come back to us, and we shouldn't be with what we have on the bench and on the pitch. There's no excuse for that. Whether that's an instruction from Barker, if we go one up, let's sit back a little bit, try and wear them out. That's gonna bite us a little bit, I think, further down the season.
Yeah, I think the introduction of Ramazani, I was praying was going to come a little bit earlier because I felt like they were getting on top a little bit, not on top as such, but they were building. Their fans were. There was no more Chansiri out. It was giving them a little bit of G up really in that game. And I did think to myself at one point they were going to nick something. We're just speaking to the lads, the only Leeds bros, the two fellas up top there before we got into it, and we were saying there was a ball header flashed over at 1-0. And I think it might have been Windass back post. They were an inch away from putting it in. It's 1-1, and then the whole game changes. Do they start piling forward under Danny Roll? You'd expect them to start doing that, and maybe it turns into a different game. Maybe we'd have hit them on transition on the other side, even if it had been 1-1, they'd have been piling forward. But I felt it was really important. The introduction in particular of Largi Ramazani was absolutely massive, I thought.
I think it was really important he came on. Again, he's starting to look sharper. I think he's got to start, like Roland said, the next game. Put Solomon in the 10, maybe. I had a funny feeling about this game at the beginning. I was a bit nervous because, when we get that pressure on us, results hadn't really gone our way for the Sheffield United game. So I was thinking, can we deal with that pressure again? But I actually thought when we went 1-0 up, I was thinking, here we go. This is it. We're going to absolutely crush them now and go for it. But the pace seemed to drop off, I thought. And the first half, I don't know, defensively, I think we're a bit dodge. There was a few, I think you're saying, Colin, Sheffield Wednesday were getting in a bit. And I was thinking, we're a bit all over the shop here at first. And I don't know why that was that because Ampadu was in central, so we're a bit feeling it a bit because Pascal wasn't there. But as the game went on, although we weren't spectacular, for me, a win is a win. Second half did get better, and I thought the subs actually from Farker this time were okay. But I still think get Ramazani starting, Solomon in that 10, Perot. Not sure about Perot. He had some good touches, but I think he went back to that Pronimus label a bit. Joseph came on, gave it a bit more kind of drive. So for me, Perot had that sort of game. So I would maybe change it the next game. But I know Farker won't, but I just think you have to go on a bit of form sometimes. So I think against Norwich, I think change up, maybe start with Matteo. But we'll see.
I'm definitely a Pero fan, and my little doll here proves it. But I thought Joseph should have started. If I'm being honest with you, bringing Pero on when Joseph does wear down the defence. I have to agree with you, Matt. I think that, we've said it an awful lot, me and Darren. It's different horses for different courses. It depends who, the lineup, whatever team that we're against. But I think Joseph should have started for this one. I think Pero wasn't really at it today. He had a few moments. But back to the Ampadu, I think Ampadu, to be honest with you, I know we got man of the match, but I gave it to Jayden Bogle. But Ampadu deserves his flowers today, lads, to be honest with you, considering he had to do a lot of digging a hole out of Meslier at times because Meslier gave him dodgy balls at the back, you know, and he had to kind of clear it up. And then there was one, they were going in on goal, and he made a cracking challenge, slide tackle to win the ball, and he's gone forward. So I think if that goal had went in, the game would have changed as well. So I don't think he's getting the credit that he deserves. Not only that, considering when Solomon was injured, his back injury, the slip that he made at Burnley, you know, his confidence was knocked. For Ampadu to come back from an injury and make the impact that he has over the last couple of days, or couple of weeks, I think has been phenomenal, and I think he deserves, you know, a good bit of praise, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, I agree with Matt, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't want to what you're saying there, Dillard, because I mean, you look at Ampadu and Pascal and Rodon, they've been that steady horse at the back. And you know, going into the game today, I was like, okay, are we gonna be able to cope with this? Yeah, it's Sheffield Wednesday. They're sitting about 10 still. So, you know, it should be an easy game, but you know, there were a couple of times. I mean, where was what's his name? Oh, I'm sorry, it's just gone out of my head now. The left back. He was nowhere. Where was Furpo? And then other lad, he were nowhere to be seen, especially when Sheffield Wednesday were backtracking or on the break. He were nowhere near. That's why there were gaps down there. There were huge times where there was just, you know, they look strong coming in off the left and the right. But yeah, I mean, Byram. Sorry, my mind goes. Yeah, I mean, getting back to Rodon and Pascal. This season they've been phenomenal. They've been that consistency at the back. It got us out of a lot of shaky situations. But I think you know, you got to give Ampadu his flowers. You know, he's coming to fill it. He's plugged a hole. But for how long? You know, the only good thing about having him in that position, Tanaka and Rothwell in the midfield, without a doubt. So that's about the only good thing to come out of that. But I just hope Pascal.
Well, for me, I think one of the big moments as well in the game was it was very, very frustrating. I think Sheffield Wednesday played well. Don't get me wrong, but they were committing a lot of bodies forward. I felt, and they were trying to risk versus reward sort of thing. But on that transition that Leeds had, that we broke through the lines, I think, as Dillo said, Bogle was doing that extremely well, inverting, but James was doing it as well. He was inverting, and Leeds were able to get onto the counter-attack pretty nicely. And we were getting in that position. I thought the big problem today, to be honest with you, and I think where we'd have hurt them a lot more, was Brendan Aaronson. I thought he was poor today. It seems to be, I'm hoping that he's not almost transitioning into that thing that we saw in the Premier League with Brendan, where he seems to overcomplicate decisions. So there were so many times in that 10 position where he's breaking forward, driving through the heart, and he's taking 5, 6, 7 touches, and it enables the opposition to get back at him, to make a slide tackle, to interrupt his play. And I felt genuinely, if there'd have been maybe a little bit more pace, a little bit more dynamism in that number 10, I think Leeds would have hurt them very, very early on today, maybe 2-3 times. I think Brendan was slowing things down. I'm just hoping he's not overcompensating and overcomplicating in his head a little bit. Maybe it's a confidence thing, because I know when I used to play, I'd always take that extra 2, 3, 4 extra touches, maybe when I was maybe not
fully on it,
not fully on it. I'd lost a little bit of zip from a previous game. Something happened which put me off a little bit, Darren. It felt like he experienced that a little bit today, Brendan. I thought he wasn't at it at all, was he?
Yeah, me and Dylan, we touched on it when we were doing the watch along. There was a couple of times, I didn't think he had a bad game, but like what you said, there was a lot of times where we were breaking on them. It was breaking the Aaronson, and he was just taking that extra touch or overrun that little bit much, running into traffic. There was definitely one situation down towards the Cop in the second half. It was before we got the second goal, and we were breaking. Dan James was gone. He was in acres of space, and all he just had to do was just play it in, and he tried to step by his man. There was no need for it. There is times, with Aaronson that he can release it a little bit quicker. I do think he's done a great job considering, leaving here, what he had to come back into. He's done good, but there's times that I think, Connor, especially away from home, he does go missing. He does go missing a lot, and I'd like to just see something a little bit different in that number 10. I've heard people saying change up formation, go 4-3-3. I don't think Farke's ever going to do that. I think this is just Farke's formation. He's always going to stick to it, and he'll just change up players. There's times for me, I just think we need a little bit something different in that number 10. I think we have to go do something. We have to go get a number 10 just to change it up. Especially the game, the third game in 3 or in 6 days, the third game in 3 to 6 days he always seems to kind of falter a little bit. He always seems to be a little bit laggy. And like what you said, we've seen it in the Premier League. Brilliant start to the season. Second half of the season, he died off. And I just think we flogged him a little bit so far this season. And I think it just might be catching up on him a little bit. There's probably games where we need to just take him out of the firing line and give him a little rest. Because the same happened to Rutter. Rutter towards the end of last season as well. Absolutely, he died of death for us the second half of the season because he was just getting flogged.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Darren. I think maybe he should have had another rest. I know Harrogate, he had a rest, but maybe another game would have done him good. But we know Farke would just revert back to his favourites. But maybe he just needed more of a break because of what happened this time. Last season as well. So again, Farke just needs to think a little bit differently there. And I know we want Rama to start maybe. Solomon to start in the 10 maybe. But if he is going to persist with Aaronson, he's going to have to manage that a bit better.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it with Aaronson today. I think he's still puffing.
I think that's probably the issue that is in this team at the minute. For me, anyway, I think I was banging this drum. Like last season, we kind of had individuals that we solely relied on, Somerville or Archie Gray, etc. And I think with this season, I love the 11 all over. And then you look at the bench and you're kind of saying, oh my God, it's unbelievable to see. But every position on that pitch is kind of covered for if something does go wrong. With injuries now coming up, there's no harm in going out and getting a few extra bodies just to kind of give us that bit of cover. But the 10 isn't. I have to be honest with you. And I like Aaronson, don't get me wrong. But like I can't see him playing there week in, week out. And I agree with you, Matt, as well. Solomon, maybe if they don't use Solomon, go get a 10. Something has to be done because there's cover everywhere else.
What happens if he gets an injury? Like if he picks up a hamstring injury and he's out, similar to whatever strike's going to be 3 weeks, possibly longer. What do we do then? We haven't tried anyone else in the number 10. So you're going from not really having a plan B to seeing if it works. You're sticking a Solomon in there rather than trying it in game when we're kind of home and hosed. Right, I'm going to take Brendan out and I'm going to try Gnonto in there. I'm going to try Solomon in there. We don't know who is the backup for Brendan. We haven't seen it yet. So I think Farke just needs a plan B in there. If we aren't going to dip into the market getting number 10, but like what the lads say, we'll try Solomon in there, try Ramazani, try Gnonto. We need to have a plan B just in case. Same thing at the back today. Myself and Dylan were banging the drum about a centre back before Strike got injured. Anyone, me and Dylan had kittens when we seen Rodon going down holding the ankle. We were like, this would just be typical liaison for Rodon to go off as well. I think centre back as well, lads. It's a position we really need to be looking at, just a little bit of cover just to see us over the line. I don't think we should leave anything to chance.
Yeah. I guess where I have to chip in, doesn't it? Because you all know my stance on it. pretty out there. But yeah, no, that's why I wanted to get you both on as well. I know we have it's different opinions, and I don't want this to be an echo chamber at all. I think it's one of those things where it's the old Leeds, isn't it? It's like you feel something's going to go wrong at some point. And I think the whole thing with, let's say, number 9, I think the thing is Peru's played, just as an example, I think he's played 74 games out of 76. He's been at the club. It'll be 75 now. So I don't think there's an absolute necessity to go out and get a number 9. I get it. I completely get it. But for me now, we've scored 51 goals. Look, even if the strikers aren't scoring, I know it gets you over the line in some circumstances, but I think Ramazani coming back acts as another striker anyway, to be honest with you, because I think his goal contribution is going to be that good. Look, I think when I was watching Ramazani today, what maybe you don't get watching it on the box, because I've watched a lot of them on the box this season, is his movement when he comes on. I think he naturally occupies that number 10 position because I think he wants more of the ball. You naturally get into the centre of the pitch, don't you, when you want more of the ball? You don't just drift out wide, and I think that's what he was trying to do to impact the game. I think he'd be okay there. I think Solomon, as I keep mentioning, as the tendencies to be a 10. Gnonto I thought was brilliant against Sheffield Wednesday in the 10 last time out. Look, you're right though, lads. If he's not going to try it, if he's never going to experiment with it, then I get the justification, completely get the justification. But for me, I think the manager has got a good enough squad there. I think it's more just about the fact maybe we're a little bit worried that we haven't seen it yet, which is where I'm kind of, I completely get it.
That's fair as well. It is. It's the Leeds though, in your corner though, isn't it? That, like you said, it's always the verge that something's going to go wrong. Like, the bubble is just going to burst. And like you said, it's always going to be down positions. Like I thought after Ampadu and Gruev got injured, I thought that's our season done. Like how are we going to get, especially so early on? And then who would have thought that Tanaka and Rotwell would have came in and done what they done? Definitely seen us over the line, and we seem to be grand there now. And then it's just worrying, especially with Strike being out. It just feels like Rodon, he's just like that, a hamstring injury away, maybe a suspension away from really being hamstringed in there as well. You're talking about bringing the boy out back in, so Yeah,
Why does he always look like he's about
knackered.
to die on the pitch? He always looks like he's about to die on the pitch. Johnny Road on.
Even just walking out of the tunnel.
Yeah, he just looks knackered constantly. But
I love his hairline now. His hairline looks much better.
yeah,
Instead,
I like his hairstyle.
it's better than mine anyway. I'm gone. I was going to text him and ask him where did he get the hairline done.
yeah, it's weird that, isn't it, Steve? How he's just regained that, mate. The powers.
No, he's gone
The Yorkshire rain, is it?
So someone said in the chat actually that apparently Leeds are looking at. I'll just rack it up now. Actually, there was. I don't know if this is true or anything. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Hi, Connor, really good results. And I'm pleased to see the impact of the subs. Rumours that Leeds are in advanced talk to make a top loan signing. And wondered who I think it is. Buendia, mate. Buendia is an interesting one. I mentioned it yesterday, just almost like a game changer signing. That's one where you look at and you go, you kind of throw your expectations out the window and go, okay, yeah, I'd have that. You don't need Buendia, but it's one of those where if he becomes available and we can get him as a championship side, worked with Farke before, we've seen the magic that Regis Labrise at something has been able to spread on them getting Enzo Lafi and previously working with him. Yeah, Buendia would be a top signing, wouldn't he? I think that's probably the one. But on my Bamadelli, the thing is, lads, I think the logistical thing is we bring players in. The boys have just mentioned bringing, maybe a centre back in, potentially a central attacking midfielder. I think the problem Leeds have got right now is how do you sell it? How do you sell that project? Brendan Aaronson, I don't think he's ever going to leave that number 10 role. I think Farke genuinely rates him. I can't, like in a game like today where I don't think he was great, there's an opportunity to bring him off and experiment if we're winning the game. Even a right centre-back coming in, Bamadelli, is he going to come from Nottingham Forest bench, the third choice centre-back, fourth choice centre-back behind Bolly, Murillo and Milenkovic to come and sit behind Rodon, Strauch and Ampadu? I think this is the problematic stance with the transfers right now. Matt, I don't know what you think, mate, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know how Leeds convince these players to come in with no guarantee that they're going to get minutes because we don't have any gaping holes in our squad, and everybody keeps saying how good our squad is, and it's the best squad in the division. So it's going to be difficult for that sell, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't think you can at the minute. And we've had that before, though, haven't we? Where we've got people in the transfer window. We don't do loads of activity in January transfer window, but we've got people in, haven't we? And we've seen people just not get there, falling out, just not Farke's friend, and they just leave and don't get the minutes. So it's difficult to sell it. But to the points earlier, we've got enough backup in other positions. I said this before in the chat. I don't think we particularly need any more players in this window. I think the squad's strong enough to get us to promotion. Maybe that number 10 a few weeks ago, but now the more I see it, the more I think we're absolutely fine. And remember, these players are going to be thinking about, do I come in and are we going to be in the Premier League, or am I going to come into Leeds and still a risk we might be staying in the Championship? I think players like Buendia, that will pay heavily. I think we get someone like that in the summer when we're promoted, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I really don't see much activity this January. The 49ers are really quiet, but I think that's deliberate because we've been stung in the past, publicly talking about transfer targets, and then they've been taken away from us. So I think there is a strategy there about not saying anything, but I don't think we will get anybody in January. And part of that is it's a difficult sell, Connor, to your point.
Yeah. Joe just said we're 5 months away from the Premier League in a one-club city with real wealthy owners. Make your mark. For me, that's the pitch. I think a lot of that is based on. I don't think players look at it like that, to be honest, Joe. I think it's a little bit more. I want to be playing. Fabio Carvalho famously rejected Leeds United last January, if we're to believe what Kinnear said with his insinuations to go to Hull. So I think a lot of it is about playing time. A lot of it is about how much playing time he's going to get as well, and agreements with the parent club, which I think goes on a lot in football, which we're not sort of privy to be honest with you. But yeah, I think the players are coming in now, and Leeds just have a little bit of a rap sheet of maybe loan players coming in and doing okay. You look at Ben White in recent history, Joe Rodon, but we've also got the Jaden Anthonys, the Jed Spencers, and the Connor Roberts. So I think agents will be well aware of that and how good Leeds' squad is. So yeah, it'll be interesting though. Be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, let's. Byram is solid enough, says Remy, but I want my fullback playing like Bogle does, so it needs to be a left footer. Yeah, I mean, look, lads, I smash on this drum every single week, and it gets so boring. But I was quite surprised not to see Firpo in the starting 11 in this one. Thought Byram did all right, didn't he? He did fine, and I guess that's sort of what we're expecting.
Mr. Consistent.
Is that good enough? It's just fine, good enough.
Yeah. You
just Mr. Consistent. It's like a 7 out of 10 every week, like that. I think defensively he's good, absolutely solid. Going forward at times, I think he doesn't give us the best going forward attack wise. He always seems to kind of come back in on that right foot where you like with Firpo, you know, you're kind of getting the overlap and run, the crosses straight into the box. You're not really getting that with Byram, so we do miss him at times. But defensively, for me, he's Mr. Consistent. He comes in, he does what he does, 7, 8 out of 10 every single week. But you're right, Connor. I thought it would have been Firpo, and I thought we might have been seeing Firpo with about 30 minutes to go. We didn't. I was surprised with that one as well.
What do you think it was? Do you think it was? Do you think it was just?
That's,
I don't know. Like, what do you think it was?
I thought like he might have just maybe I was like Firpo's maybe still like a little bit behind
yeah.
on his recovery, coming back in a little bit rusty. But I definitely thought we would have seen him in the 70th minute coming on. I'd say that probably was the plan, but maybe the game was going 1-0 up. He was probably thinking about taking Byram off. He was a defensive fullback to bring on an attacking fullback. Maybe he was thinking that because he did take off Joe Rotwell to put on Gruev, who's more defensive as well. So I think at 1-0 he was thinking more about shore it up rather than bringing on an attacking fullback. That's why I think he probably didn't come on today. But I think we probably see him. We probably see him midweek. I say we probably see him Wednesday against Norwich. I'd say he'll start then.
I'd like to think so anyway. Like there was a lot of obviously rumours and speculations about his future here. Now that he can, commence talks with other clubs. So that's in the back of my mind as well. But look, that's the Leeds fan in me that's gonna be worrying and stressing about that. But yeah, look, you kind of. But I like Byram. I rate him. I think, as Darren said there, it's 7 and 8 out of 10 every week. He does his job.
Lads, we've got to step on this as well. What does he do? I can't keep. I mean, Ramazani for me is there just produced one of the best goals of the season with how cramped he was in that space. No backlift on the ball, and you've seen 2 efforts there. The volley strike on his weaker foot, where it's a lovely finish by Tanaka, of course. But that first one, that is just a world-class finish. And it's one of those where you're kind of missing that potency in front of goal, aren't you, throughout some of these games for Leeds. I don't know how we do it. Well, I've got an idea, but it feels like somehow Leeds have got to shoehorn him in, haven't they? Because for me, I think it is criminal. It's criminal for Ramazani to be missing 2 games, not getting any minutes whatsoever. And even in this game, kind of managed well, obviously, in a sense. He's got he's got the assist and the goal, but it feels like we need to see a hell of a lot more of this kid, don't we? Because his ceiling once again is just, I feel it's quite high, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 100%. He was probably our best player, Connor, before he got injured, wasn't he? And I think when Ramazani did, we probably missed him for 2 or 3 games. When he did go out of the squad, he thought he was a big miss. When he came back, he obviously started against Derby. I thought he was good for the first 20 minutes against Derby, but you could definitely see it in those dive. But I just put that down to the pure rushiness, which obviously what you could expect. But then to not see him then, like we just had against Blackburn at Hull, when you could see Dan James was struggling, who had poor games against both of them. But Daniel Farke not to change it up was a strange one. But you can see the talent that he has, his individual quality to come on there today, to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and then turn around, which what he does. But I agree with you, Connor. We need to get him into the side somehow, whether it is moving Solomon into the 10 and Ramazani out to the left, or even through the 10. You need quality like that on the pitch.
But I think that's what our problem was last season as well, is, solely relying on players. And what I love about it this year is that competition for players to come off the pitch. So whether it is Solomon, Solomon is producing, and I'm not hating on Ramazani, he's playing unbelievable, and he has, as Connor said there, his ceiling is, he's going to be, he's going to make serious business, for Leeds if he ever did leave. But I mean, I'm loving the competition at the minute, and that hunger and desire for him to come on and score that goal, and then obviously create that little flick on for Tanaka as well. It's only getting the motivation going. As far as Gnonto's 4th choice for me, if I'm being honest. So I'm just loving the competition at the minute. That's where I was at.
I think Gnonto's sulking about the minute. I think he's sulking that he's not playing every game. He's not looked right for a while. You can see he might be fourth choice, but I think he likes to be the main man. I think he wants to be the main man.
Yeah.
Steve, just to contribute to what you were saying there, we were at the game today, and it was really interesting at the end. He kind of looked like he went to walk off when everyone was doing the whole crowd thing at the end, and then someone almost siphoned him back on with a coat. And I thought that's interesting. He just didn't look. They're all sort of buzzing at the end of the game. And just to add to your point, he didn't. And I'm not obviously starting anything here. He might have been fine, might have just been knackered, might have felt something in his hamstring. But there's something. It does feel with Gnonto. I don't know what it is, but there's something not quite right there.
Me and Darren are always saying it. It seems like he's 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and that's the vibe that me and Darren have been banging the last, you could say, while.
Yeah.
And I just feel like at times, I've said on our own streams and other ones, when Somerville did leave, there was a post being put up. It was basically like he was passing on the torch to Gnonto. It's your time to shine now. To a certain degree, he has done that, but then now he's matured in a good way. You could say, like, he's not causing strops, when he gets tackled, they're taking out of it. But he's matured. He's matured in that way, but he's kind of immature in other ways, if that makes sense. So if he's getting taken off, you can see it on the camera. His facial expressions is just overall great. He's a bit greedy. He's a bit overconfident. He's a bit, he's trying a bit too hard. He's trying to walk it in himself at times. That's what I'm getting the vibe from Gnonto anyway.
I just wonder whether we don't know, but I wonder whether an offer's come in for him in January from somebody.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's made him think.
Yeah, it's kind of questioned or put question marks in his mind about whether he wants to be here or not. Because quite right, he was going to be the main man. It was like that for a little bit, and it hasn't worked out. He's dropped down the pecking order now. So I just wonder whether an offer's come in, as I said, and he's turned and he's not sure what to do. Maybe. Therefore, Farkas still is playing him, so I don't think there's a problem there with the manager. But something has definitely affected his confidence or his form, and it could be that. And there were rumours, wasn't there, about Saudi and things like that. There's more rumours already.
There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders though as well. Like, he's still young as well. I think
he's still only 21. He has a high ceiling. There's no doubting that he has the talent 100%, and he can turn a game. But it's just that consistency. He doesn't have it. He's like, he'll hit that level for 2 or 3 games, and then he'll just fall off a cliff for a couple of games. And it's kind of giving me Jack Harrison vibes. Obviously, much more talented than what Jack Harrison is. But like, that would be consistent.
About to kick you off the stream there, Darren.
much more consistent, much better player. But that same sort of level of, he never really seems to stay consistent. And I suppose if he is that consistent all the time, then he's not gonna be at Leeds United. So maybe that's why he is still here. But just to touch on what Dylan said, with the Gnonto feeling, I always just feel like he is 1 foot out the door, that he's not fully here, he's not fully invested, and might be way wide of the mark with that one. But yeah, look what Dylan said, he's 4th choice for me at the minute, which is, it's a shame because there is a player in there.
It's the standards, isn't it? It's like when we're in the Premier League, and obviously Somerville contribute, but I thought, I don't feel like we can be revisionists here. Like, he was the flag bearer in the Premier League, wasn't he? He was the X factor. He was the one who scored against Man United. Obviously his contributions in terms of assists and goals weren't amazing, but I felt that was who the opposition in the Premier League were doubling up on every time. He was our ace card, and it's so interesting how it's developed with him. But once again, you can put that down again to just the competition we've got, the competition across the side now. And it's almost like if you're not doing and you're not delivering, to have James and Solomon on, and then Ramazani and Gnonto coming off. I was looking at Everton's side today, Lindstrom, Jack Harrison, and I'm thinking to myself, the wingers that they've got, Leeds have got better wingers. Leeds have got better 100%. Out and out forwards than Everton, and it's just it's crazy how it works. It's the depth that we've got across the side is interesting. Bielsa's knee says, kind of picking stuff apart unnecessary. Can you chat about what Leeds did to be so comfortable against a top 10 side? I kind of think that's what we're doing, mate. But yeah, we'll try be on your vibe a little bit more. It's all well and good wanting to be the main man, but you have to produce. Yeah, as well.
100%. I'm wondering if, look, James has outshone himself this season. Let's just say that. I don't think he was half as effective, and I also think James needs a bit of a rest as well. Because he's played week in, week out. Last week I don't think he was particularly brilliant. today. I think maybe he should have a bit of a rest and put Gnonto back in. I mean, yeah, last season he was massively effective off that wing. His cut-ins and everything, it was amazing. But it's just not there this year. And I'm wondering, you've got James and you've got Bogle. I'm wondering whether or not, the positive effect that Bogle's having, two totally different styles of players. But I wonder if he's kind of feeling the pinch a bit because Bogle's there and he's obviously ahead of him. James is there, he's obviously ahead of him. So that's why I say, I think he's probably feeling a bit, well, I'm not the man anymore. But then if you're not the man anymore and you come on, then be the man,
Yeah, you can't sulk about that, can you? You've got to be thinking, this is the standards here. I'm off it a bit, so I've got to work hard and get myself back up there. It's not a sulking saying I was promised to be the main guy. But yeah, it's interesting with him. Connor, can I speak about Mez? I feel like we've got to, haven't we?
I'll mute myself. I'll mute myself.
I thought like today, I thought he was like okay, but I'm nervous still whenever the ball comes to him or something's going to happen. He made a couple of good saves, but I just think let's just not kid ourselves that's all okay now, because there was a lot of pressure on him coming back in. Farke sticking by his guns. I still think that's an area to strengthen, particularly the summer, because nothing will happen in January. But I just thought, yeah, he was okay, but the nerves will never go away for me seeing him in between the sticks. But I think for Farke, that might be glossed over now because he was all right. We didn't concede. He didn't have loads and loads to do, but that's still an area we've got to focus on, I think. And we just can't forget that, despite the result today. I just hope he's not going to drop that massive clanger between now and the end of the season, like against Burnley or somebody. But, he was okay today.
I'm actually going to disagree with you, Matt. To be honest with you. And I'm sorry because I just think that Mez, for me, is just simply not good enough. You said there, like, I think he made 2 saves. And, like, they were good saves now, to be fair. They were. But I'm going to sound like Roy Keane. That is his job. That's the basics of a goalkeeper. But when it comes to a corner or a ball getting floated in from the edge of the box and he's flapping and he can't catch the ball or he's punching or, you don't know where it's going to go. Then the defenders around them are looking around to try and take up their man. It's just a bit his positioning as well. I just think, and a good few times his kicking as well. His kicking is shocking. He smashed the ball, went straight to a Sheffield Wednesday. And I feel like I would be the first person to go put my arm around him and go, lads, we need to back him. We've backed him after Sunderland, and then he made the second error. And now, yet again, he's still showing signs of just pure panic mode or just not completely at it. And I think for us, he's the one that's going to cause a lot of issues for Leeds United because we can't be giving away goals like that. And then yet again, people are saying the clean sheets, etc. It's nothing to do with Mez. It's been the defence all along. Yeah. Look, he has made good saves, lads. I'm not condemning that. He has.
Well, I think as well, Bill. It's a lot of it as well. I think what you're viewing today as well as his distribution to like the back four. I think a lot of times it's a very simple pass, and he's playing it behind Jayden Bogle. He's playing it behind Sam Byron. Basically, what that does is that invites.
And even when they're under pressure, Connor, like there was a lot of times for Ampadu there. Sorry for going across you, but he has the space just to smash the ball up the field, no one around him, but he tries to give it to Ampadu who's 5 yards away. And there's someone closing him down, and then Ampadu has to smash it up the line.
And then you look at the team that you're playing, and you're playing a pressy team as well. So if you're playing the ball behind your fullbacks as a goalkeeper, that just puts a mass pressure on them. And I thought they were pressing quite high on Byram today as well, which meant that Mele's distribution had to be pretty perfect to the fullbacks and the centre backs. But I agree, it was not. Guys, we have to talk about one thing. We have to talk about that referee.
Oh, I mean, I can't believe it's shocking. Somebody please send Howard Webb an email telling him he's no longer welcome at Ellen Road. That's twice he's been here.
I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. That was an abomination, from the handball to tackles that weren't given yellow cards. And I don't normally like to speak about referees on here, but he was truly, that's the worst I've seen in a long time. That was it. That was top Trump championship shite ref.
The first there was the tackle on Bogle in the first half where he went down. Clearly got somewhat crushed on his foot. It just after West Ham were up before. Sorry, after Lowfields were half up before he just as Bogle hit the deck. So I mean, I'm not saying he's got to rely on the crowd, but it was right there. And if the crowd can see it, why can't the ref? Why can't the ref see it?
Him and a close up.
Then there was the other point in the second half where he was, I can't remember what it was now, but play was allowed to carry on, and then as we were advancing up the pitch, blew the whistle, brought everything back. It's like ridiculous. And this guy was a Premier League ref, a Champions League ref, not 3 seasons ago. I don't know what's changed. It's been shocking. We always seem to end up with these refs that are just garbage.
Yeah, that's the Leeds way, Steve.
And when it was 1-0, I said to Dylan on our watch along, I was like, Dylan, I just have a feeling this ref is going to do us today. I just had a feeling any opportunity in around the box, any of their players went down, he was giving. I was just like, just don't let them get near our boxes. It just felt like he was going to ruin the game for us today. But yeah, as what Connor said, that's.
I've never heard just boos like that. It was the whole four stands were booing him, for 3 or 4 times. Really, it was poor, very very poor from an officiating perspective. But I guess coming into it now, so we're looking at the next few games now. Leeds are coming into an interesting month, really. Obviously, we're getting into it's mid-Jan now. We're getting into February, but I'm just going to reel out some games for you fellas. Leeds Norwich at home on Wednesday. Then it's into Burnley away from home, Cardiff at home. So you're looking at sort of the next 2 home games. You think have got to be maximum points, really. Obviously, Millwall in the Cup. Coventry, obviously been postponed when it comes to time there. But on the 11th of Feb, it gets into a bit of an interesting period for Leeds. Watford away, Sunderland at home, Sheff away, and West Brom at home. I think it's big in these next sort of 4 games, maybe that, Leeds don't lose, and we're picking up some serious points against Norwich, Cardiff, and Burnley. I think you don't really want to be going to Burnley and losing, do you? It's an important period for Leeds right now, it feels.
Yeah,
I agree, Connor. 100%. We keep saying we have to win our home games, and we are doing that. There obviously is going to be games like the Blackburn one that are going to slip all up. We should be beating Norwich at home, 100%. We should be beating Cardiff at home. That Burnley one away, I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be very similar to the Sunderland. I was watching your watch along with it as well. I just hope it's not it's not in that way of Leeds missing 2 penalties or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's a massive game. But like what you said, when we get into February, then that's a massive turnaround. Watford, Sheffield United, West Brom as well. That's not going to be an easy one as well. So yeah, we need to start getting points on the board. We're great at home. It's the away form we need to tighten up on 100%.
I think if we get a result, yeah. Sorry, Dylan.
No, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, I think that Burnley game, for me, if we get a result there, as in a win, I think we've got to try and win.
Imagine, yeah.
I think that sets us up for the rest of those difficult games, Connor. I just think Burnley, we need to reverse that because we lost 1-0 to them at home. If we don't look great either,
Matt. They don't look great.
They always seem to go through the skin of their teeth, don't they? Yeah. Always.
So that gives us a boost, I think, that game, and then I won't be as worried about those following ones. And then we go to Sheffield, we come up to Sheffield United in the end at those bunch of games. So I think, again, for me, Burnley, I know we've got Norwich first, but Burnley, we make a statement again, beat them away. And I think that will give us loads of confidence, hopefully. And then I wouldn't be as worried, as I said, about the next
I was going to say the same thing. That's exactly what I was going to say, Matt. I swear to God. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think Burnley is the one. I'm kind of hesitant now for Norwich because it's a midweek game. Just don't know what it is with midweek games. They just don't seem to get across the line for us.
I watched Norwich yesterday and they were woeful against Sheffield United. Absolutely woeful.
They're very inconsistent though. They're one of them sides, aren't they? Where you watch them and they're terrible, then you watch them and they're brilliant. And signs as well. They're so inconsistent.
Signs been out big, innit?
Really big. That's massive for them, Connor. That's massive. What is he 15, 16 goals? Like that's a massive miss for them.
Yeah.
But they'll pick themselves up against us, won't they? Farker's old team.
Of course they will, yeah. Of course.
Want to spoil it for us. Norwich are going to be up for it. So you can just imagine. I don't know what.
It was 1-0 in that watch.
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right against Norwich. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think there's 3 points there, but I'm kind of agreeing with Matt and Dylan that there's the Burnley one's a bit of a worry for me as well. I'm not going to say I'm not going to sit here and deny that we're going to blaze it. I don't think it'll be like that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because of how crap our away form has been, you know, consistently over the season. I think if we can get over that hurdle, I think. Look, whether we go first or second, I don't care. As long as we go
just
up.
get me out here.
But I think if we can get over Burnley and get 3 points there, I don't care. I think even if we just win 1-0, you know, I think if we get over that, we've got a cushion and we just push on from there. And I think we'll be, you know, and I think then we'll start seeing a bit of a progression forward. You know.
Do you know as well though? The crazy thing is, like, we're still a few points, to be fair, behind Burnley, and Burnley in particular. Burnley are fantastic away from home. They picked up 28 points on the road this year. Sheffield United in second, 14 games played, 25. Leeds in third, 13 games, 21 points. So it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. I was the exact same, but it feels like that little pick-me-up over the Christmas period when it came to, you know, when it came to Stoke and when it came to Derby in particular. 2 tough games, in my opinion, especially Derby. You know, was getting clean sheets and 6 points. It was big. But, yeah, I mean, the consistency at home, matching that home and away form is going to be nigh on impossible because of how good we are at home. But, yeah, I mean...
Can you imagine...
It, yeah.
Sorry, Con. Can you imagine, please, Melier, don't drop that clanger in the Burnley game. Please.
Why would you say that?
Please. I want to be positive. We're top of the league. Thanks. I want to be positive. But, you know, you just got that horrible
everyone just has the leads in them, don't they? Like,
thanks, man. I'm not going to sleep tonight now.
Yeah. God, I'm going to have to start with my Carl Darlow propaganda now, mate. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I can't believe he's got... I mean, yeah, as I say, just focusing on him a tiny bit. I think today's come away with a clean sheet. Look, is what it is. It made a good save. What I will say, made a good save, kind of a routine save. But lads, you know, when he makes a routine save now, it's seen as a 10 out of 10 save, isn't it? So he makes
a ball.
He makes a ball. He made a routine save. Had a little bit of a jittery moment where Windas's effort was blocked on the line, pretty much. I think it was by Ampadu again. But yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping. I don't know what you're just hoping that his confidence somehow out of nowhere, the extra training, whatever it is, somehow he just gets a tad better, and we just kind of keep the ball away from him, which is crazy talk, really. But it is what it is.
I was just going to ask you there, Connor. Is like that the game plan now? Is just keep the ball away from Mez as much as you can? Because probably a question for you all, lads. Like, are you confident? It's obviously real now that Farke is going to stick by Melier. Are you confident from now until the end of the season that he doesn't make another clanger?
No, he will, and I think that's where we just keep it interesting for the rest of the league, don't we? I think as I've said, I'm a big advocate for going out and getting a new keeper. I'm not really that bothered about new signings. I think Darlow would come in. I've said this more times and be fine. He'd be okay. Like I don't think he'd be terrible. I think that out and against.
We don't get bombarded, Connor. It's not like we, you be peppered at the goal. So you do just want the basics, someone that kick a ball.
Yeah, XG against, I think the XG against is the best in the league. I know we don't focus on that too much in the channel, but it basically means that other teams don't create that many chances against us. So it's, you know, as I keep saying, I firmly believe we'd have been 7, 8, 9 points clear. I think you look at those goals that we've conceded. We've conceded, I think, 19 goals. I'd look at him for 8 or 9 of them. Genuinely, I'd look at him for 8 or 9 of them.
Surprised.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sheffield Wednesday actually did pepper him more, actually, because, you know,
it was the delivery, Matt. I thought the delivery from the set pieces was crap. I thought it was really average. I thought if they got it right, you know, we see Arsenal do it a lot now, don't we, in terms of that delivery from set pieces. But if they put it on him, I think he's who knows though? Who knows? But yeah, well, I'll tell you what, lads, we'll leave it there. It's been about 52 minutes. Only Leeds Bros. Check them out on YouTube, everybody. Go over there and subscribe to the lads. Darren and Dillo will definitely be making appearances back on the channel. These two lovely faces also on the channel as well are 2 of the fantastic Patreon members we have. You can join the Patreon, everybody, and you can come on the channel as well. We do exclusive live chats, which we'll put on the Patreon podcast-wise. So thank you so much. Listen, this boy scored today. You want your Out and Acca merch? You know what to do, everybody. Back for our link in the description below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Cheers, fellas, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers,
guys.